Hello my lovelies and welcome to the Powerpuff Girl. So this is the ultimate dry skin moisturizer video, and here are all of the moisturizers that I have been trying over like the past few years. So I'm also going to include two holy grail products for me towards the absolute end of this video. If you have very dry, dehydrated skin, then I know what that feels like. I am someone with genetically dry skin using tretinoin, so I know how drying skin can get. So towards the end of this video are two products which have just changed the game for me. All of these are ceramide based moisturizers which are cruelty free and are also excellent for repairing your skin barrier. We're starting at level 1, which is great for dry skin in humid climates during summers, and then we're going to move on towards thicker, heavier moisturizers which will help you out during winter. Whichever one of these are my favorites, you will see a star and a favorite sign going on the screen, and any other details like how hydrating or how occlusive I feel a certain moisturizer is, I'll go ahead and put that on the screen. This video is non-sponsored. If you feel like purchasing any of these or repurchasing any of these, please use my affiliate links. It helps me get a little bit back to put more into this channel. Alright, so level 1. So the first one is Dr. Sheth's Oats and Ceramide Sensitive Skin Moisturizer. This has a gel creme consistency. It's got great ingredients, especially for repairing your skin barrier. If you do have someone with sensitive, dry, damaged skin, then this is a really good option. It's like a gel creme consistency, which is nice and cooling upon application, sinks in quite nicely and gives you a soft, silky finish. And honestly, I love the ingredients in this. I love how nourishing it feels, and I'm not the biggest fan of Dr. Sheth's moisturizers. I don't feel like they nail the moisturizers honestly, but this is actually a really nice one if you're somebody with dry skin in a very humid, summery climate. Next in this list is Dermaco's 4% Ceramide Barrier Repair Moisturizer. Again, this is a gel creme consistency. This is very hydrating, very moisturizing, absorbs very fast into the skin, especially if you're in like a humid climate. This is actually a really nice moisturizer. Again, it's similar to the Oats and Ceramide Sensitive Skin Moisturizer in terms of how long lasting I felt it was and how hydrating I felt it was. Quite similar. In fact, this might be a little more hydrating than this one. Again, Dermaco really does a good job with its moisturizers. If there's anything I take away from Dermaco, it's their moisturizers. They really do a good job. And finally, we have the Pilgrim Spice Ceramides Barrier Repair Moisturizer with Korean Cica. This is a little more similar to this, the Dr. Sheth's one. Again, quite hydrating. It's a little more occlusive than the other two, a little less hydrating, but still fantastic towards humid summers. It's very cooling upon application, repairs the barrier beautifully. Or multiple kinds of ceramides as well. The only thing is you have to use this within 6 months of opening. That is not a problem with these two. They tend to last a little longer. So level 2, here we're looking at moisturizers which are a little bit more occlusive than before. Here is where it starts to get a little bit tricky in terms of hydration, because it is very difficult for moisturizers to be intensely hydrating and intensely occlusive at the same time. So if you want the maximum benefits of the next moisturizers that are coming up in terms of hydration, if you have dehydrated skin that needs that watery content, then I highly suggest that at this point start working in your toners. Go in with these moisturizers on damp skin, and any toner that works for you, layer it a few times before you go in with these moisturizers, because again, hydration starts to get a little bit tricky as you scale up in terms of occlusivity. All of these again are in the same strength of occlusivity in my opinion. However, the consistencies of all of these are very different and you can choose accordingly. And next in this list, and this has been in a lot of people's videos for very dry skin, this is actually Deconstruct Skin Soothe Moisturizer. Now honestly, I like this, and if you have, slightly dry skin, then this is actually a good option. However, I don't feel like it's incredibly hydrating or that its moisturization is very long lasting, which is why it's in level 2 at the moment. Again, very well formulated. It has 1% ceramide complex, 0.2% bisobolol, which calms and soothes the skin. Again, I think the only comedogenic, possibly mainly comedogenic ingredient over here is isopropyl myristate, but again, we've learned with the Hyphen milky toner that can be formulated without being comedogenic for a lot of people. I see why people really like this. I've experienced nice smooth skin with this, but again, for me, I really need to load in a lot of watery toners for this to be hydrating enough. Still a really good option. And finally, here is one that I am not a fan of. This is the Foxtail Ceramide Moisturizer. I know a lot of people love this product and it's nice, not incredibly hydrating. If you don't have dehydrated skin, then you will actually really like this product. For me, not the biggest fan because again, fragrance, I am biased towards products which don't have fragrance, so I will not repurchase this again. But overall, simple ingredient list, it's a holy grail product for a lot of people. If you don't mind the fragrance, then this is actually a decent product, lasts long. A tiny bit sticky, that does go away with time. Overall, a decent one that I won't purchase again. Okay, so moving on to level 3 again. This is just slightly heavier than level 2 in my opinion. They're still very close. So if you feel like you've used moisturizers in level 1 and 2 and you wanted something a little heavier, then here you are. So here is Hyphen's Pillow Rich Ceramide Cream. This is a little bit sticky, but god do I love this. Overall, I was a little bit skeptic when I first bought this one, but I am so glad I did. This calmed my skin, soothed my skin. So because it's a tiny bit sticky sometimes, you can go ahead and use this in the nighttime if you're okay with it, if you want something a little bit heavier. Overall, daytime, nighttime, whatever it is, beautiful product, one of my favorites. There's just a little bit of seaweed extract over here, Laminaria digitata extract, which some people tend to get comedones with. It didn't give me any problems whatsoever, and I've come to the absolute end of this tube. So next is another product from Hyphen that I do not like. This is the Hyphen's Barrier Care Cream. This is again a holy grail product for a lot of people. However, this just did not do it for me. The problem being, this kind of just caused me comedones, and I'm a little upset about that. I really wanted to like it. This is one of those rare moisturizers which is not intensely heavy, but still manages to hydrate for really long. So yes, I really do like this moisturizer. It's just that my skin did not adjust well to it, and it comes in this pump packaging. This does have fragrance, not a fan of that. Most of Hyphen's products don't have fragrance. I don't know why they added it in this one. This has multiple peptides, multiple ceramides, some oils which dry skin needs. There's shea butter. Overall, the formulation is really well thought out, and I just don't know why it didn't work for me. And finally, we do have the Dot & Key Ceramides and Hyaluronic Barrier Repair Moisturizer. This is fragrance-free, almost everyone knows. Again, very well formulated. It has rice water, it has multiple ceramides, cholesterol, the right amount of antioxidants, one of Dot & Key's best-selling products. Okay, so level 4, and we have some of my absolute favorites and some products that I really don't like. Now, if you're wondering why I have them in this list, it's because just because I don't like them doesn't mean you won't, and just because they didn't work with my skin doesn't mean they won't for you. So these moisturizers are some of the heaviest in the market, and that also makes them really occlusive. But again, hydration is also incredibly important, especially for dry skin people. I will give you that hack towards the end of the video. Going in first with the Phytoceramide Moisturizer from the Earth Rhythm. I've seen this recommended by a lot of people for dry skin, and it's a good one. However, it's not hydrating at all. And in fact, the next two that I will show you all have somewhat similar consistencies. They're all thick and they don't hydrate very well in my opinion. But again, if you're not someone with very dehydrated skin, or you can layer your toners multiple times, then you will actually find these good. These really provide a fantastic occlusive barrier. This is very, very moisturizing. My only suggestion is, please layer under this, otherwise this just won't give you enough hydration, because it does take quite some time to sink in. Next in this list are two moisturizers which in my opinion are almost twins of each other in terms of consistency. They're close to the Phytoceramide, but this is more balmy, ointmenty. So one of the twin in my opinion is Reequil Ceramide Hyaluronic Acid Moisturizer. For a lot of people, this is a holy grail product, and it's not so much for me. I just feel like it doesn't sink in, it doesn't absorb, it just sits on the skin, it creates a nice occlusive barrier, no doubt. Towards the end of the day, your skin might tend to look greasy, but I'm just gonna be honest guys, in level 4, all of these it's difficult to find a moisturizer that won't make you look very greasy or isn't thick, because how else is a moisturizer going to protect? If you truly want a very lightweight, incredibly occlusive moisturizer, then you need to go for some petroleum jelly. Even a tiny bit of petroleum jelly or even like a little bit of oil goes a long way. This one does tend to make your skin look dry, greasy a little bit towards the end of the day, and I really don't like how this has fragrance. This one does have myristoyl myristate, which is highly comedogenic. We are also seeing a couple of comedogenic ingredients over here, but it does have mango seed butter, a couple of heavier occlusives like jojoba oil. We're seeing borage seed oil. Overall, I get it, but I don't feel like it's watery enough. It's not hydrating enough. Here is the second twin. Honestly, this broke me out. Not a fan of this product. This does not have fragrance, however. This is Concious Chemist Hydroboost Deep Moisturizing Plumping Cream. This broke me out, and I'm actually going to show you. Let me show you how similar the consistencies are from the Reequil. This is the Concious Chemist towards my thumb. Okay, Concious Chemist Reequil. They're so incredibly similar, and if you did not like one of them, then there's a chance you will not like the other as well. In fact, Conscious Chemist Hydroboost is a little bit, tiny bit, like literally 5-10% thicker than the Reequil one. Okay, now here is a moisturizer that I absolutely love. I've suggested it to many of you all, and I know it's a little bit on the expensive side, but this is much more watery. It still provides long-lasting hydration, and the biggest plus here is the formulation and the quality of ingredients. This is Suganda Ceramide moisturizer. It's a little bit expensive compared to everything that I've shown you guys, but the quality, like, I love most of Suganda's products for their quality. They're always ahead in the game when it comes to ingredients. Like, you see them launching ingredients way before other brands do. This sinks in very fast, absorbs very fast. It's relatively lightweight than these in this level. However, it still gives a long-lasting moisturization, and it is quite hydrating as well. So I'll tell you what I think they did right here, okay? It's literally like oil and watery extracts. That's it. If you mix watery extracts and oil, that's how you kind of get this product. So it kind of gives you the hydration that you need. It also gives you the occlusivity that squalane oil brings with it. And I feel like very dry skin just will really like this product. However, if you have incredibly dry skin, then hold on, I'll tell you exactly what to do. See, compared to Earth Rhythm, Conscious Chemist or Reequil, this is not as occlusive, but it is way more hydrating. Still does a great job at giving you that little oil-based barrier. Now, this is one that needs no explanation on my channel. This is COSRX Comfort Ceramide Cream. This is the most balmy, beautiful moisturizer. I just love this one, and it is a little bit heavy on the skin. It's got Centella Asiatica water, repairs my skin barrier so well. However, this does have some essential oils. However, if you're somebody with very sensitive skin, then essential oil can possibly irritate your skin. For me, however, this has been a holy grail since a long time, especially during the winter months. Fantastic product. It is on the very expensive side, so I understand if you want to skip this, but if you can afford it and if it fits in your budget, then this is something I really enjoy. And here is the 5% niaceramide daily hydrating moisturizer for normal to combination skin. Now you're going to be like, this says it's for normal to combination skin, why is it in level 4? Trust me, in my experience, when I layer this with a nice toner, this lasts all day without letting my skin feel dry. The only trick is, if you're somebody with very dry skin, just use more quantity of this. If you're somebody with normal or combination skin, just use a little bit less. I really do like this one. Again, no fragrance, almost no comedogenic ingredients, simple, affordable. This gives a silky finish, and honestly, really well priced. But this is the 5% niaceramide deep moisturizing cream from the Dermaco. This is for dry to very dry skin. This is an excellent night cream. There's a lot of petroleum jelly in this, so it can sort of disturb your sunscreen in the morning. It kind of clumps up and stuff. So if you want to avoid that, then you can use this in the night. Very ointment balm, like decently hydrating as well. Incredible occlusive finish. However, the finish is a little bit towards semi-matte. It feels a little bit semi-matte on the skin, but still does a fantastic job at keeping that moisture in. This is the 5% niaceramide intense moisturizing cream for dry and sensitive skin in the Dermaco. If you've tried the Dermaco's niaceramide for dry to very dry skin, this is like a slightly watered down version. However, it has a smell. Anything that's not fragrance, I will tolerate it. I'll kind of hope that it goes away, and it does go away. It takes a little long to go away, but it does. But honestly, beautiful product. This is one of those rare ones which is very hydrating and very moisturizing at the same time, and lasts quite a long time on the skin. This is actually one of my favorites. We're also seeing some jojoba oil, we're seeing some shea butter, we're seeing a lot of antioxidants, soothing ingredients. Overall, this is formulated for sensitive skin, and it does a fantastic job at repairing your skin barrier. And finally, I also tried the Chemist at Play's Intensely Hydrating Face Moisturizer. Now, while this does not say it has fragrance anywhere in the ingredients, I feel like it definitely has some fragrance. Okay, now I'll tell you what the issue with this is. Very similar to the Reequil moisturizer that I'm not a big fan of. It's also very similar to the Conscious Chemist moisturizer. Again, not a fan of the Conscious Chemist one, broke me out. The Reequil one, again, I just didn't like the consistency. This is similar to those two. However, this did not break me out. Yet I feel like this has some weird fragrancy smell to it. However, incredibly moisturizing, very long lasting. I'm not super happy with the hydrating factor. However, if you're looking for some of the heaviest moisturizers available for your dry skin, then this is actually a really good option. So here are my 2 hacks that have just changed my dry skin. Okay, the Hyphen's Milky Toner. I'm sorry, at this point I should be getting paid to constantly be showing you this product. If you're somebody with very acne prone skin, please, 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 it's a request, comment down below and let the others know what your experience has been if you've used this product. I really want to recommend this to every single person who has incredibly dry skin. However, I don't know if I can recommend it to someone with dry, acne-prone skin, simply because in my experience, this has caused zero problems. However, there is isopropyl myristate so high up in the ingredient list, which can be comedogenic. So if you're somebody acne-prone who has used this, please comment down below, let the others know. This is basically like a creamy, runny moisturizer. So it's a good idea to kind of apply this after all of your water-based serums, because this won't let your other serums absorb otherwise. But if you layer this and while your skin is still damp, you go in with your moisturizer, I don't know how you can still have dry skin after that. And finally, now you have a pre-moisturizer. I'll tell you a post-moisturizer, pick up squalane oil. If you have incredibly dry skin, even acne-prone skin tends to do quite well with squalane oil. You can pick the Minimalist one. I've used that, fantastic. Suganda had one, I think they've discontinued it. The Ordinary, I have the Ordinary one as well, brilliant product. Minimalist felt a little more watery, like not watery, but like it's an oil, lightweight. It felt a little more lightweight than the Ordinary one, if that kind of helps you make a decision. But both of those fantastic oils. Sealing in your moisturizer with an oil, especially towards the night. I don't suggest this during the day. Lots of oil-based products during the day can sort of interfere with your sunscreen and how efficient your sunscreen can penetrate in your skin. But it's a fantastic idea if you want to, layer it last in your skincare and sleep, especially this winter. I don't see how you can wake up with dry skin after that. So I hope I've been able to kind of help you guys out. And do you feel like some moisturizers were more occlusive than the ones I've put higher in the list? Let me know. Go ahead and comment down below. So if you found this video helpful, please hit that like, share and subscribe button. You can also follow me on Instagram and until we meet next time, lots of love. Stay healthy, stay hydrated.